Well, good morning, Gospel Life Church. Welcome to the devotional for today. I'm going to just read a passage here in 2 Timothy chapter 1. And we're going to go from verse 15 down to the end of the chapter in verse 18. So 2 Timothy chapter 1 is a passage that we're going through as elders over the course of this entire year. So we're going to be really diving deep into this passage. We started in our elders meeting last week just looking at some questions that we had about the passage and some observations. And as I went through that, one of the big things that stood out to me about this passage was a couple characters that we're going to talk about today. I'll do my best not to butcher their names as we go through here. I'm starting in verse 15. You all are aware that all who are in Asia turned away from me, among whom are Phygellus and Hermogenes. May the Lord grant mercy to the household of Onesiphorus, for he often refreshed me and was not ashamed of my chains. But when he arrived in Rome, he searched for me earnestly and found me. May the Lord grant him mercy from the Lord on that day. And for you well know of all the service he rendered at Ephesus. So, pretty simple and straightforward passage here, but I just really want to show some of the contrast here between what we see in verse 15 here with Phygellus and Hermogenes. So you've got Paul imprisoned right now in Rome, and he gets abandoned. Basically, everybody leaves him, and he makes it a point to call out these two specific guys. So, we can perhaps assume here that these guys were believers, were fellow Christians, and they abandoned him. Maybe they didn't abandon the faith entirely, but they were perhaps ashamed of him in prison, and they abandoned him. Perhaps they were concerned for their own well-being, that they too might be imprisoned. We don't know exactly, but the fact remains that they abandoned him. So we have these deserters, and then you can contrast this a little bit with what we learn about Onesiphorus. He wasn't ashamed of Paul. It says explicitly that, not ashamed of my chains. And he came there to serve Paul. He arrived in Rome. He searched for him. Kind of seems to imply that maybe that was something that was not an easy task. Kind of searched high and low, searched earnestly, and found him. And then we also see here at the end of this passage that this was part of Onesiphorus's character. It was to be no surprise to Timothy. He knew what he did in Ephesus, all of the works, all of the services. So, just a challenge for us. How would we be characterized? Would we have this glaring, glowing review if somebody were to reflect on us and our character? I hope that they can. I hope there are things in your Christian life, the outflowing of the love of Christ from you, that others would make it a point to note. So be encouraged by Onesiphorus. Hopefully stand in contrast against Phygellus and Hermogenes. And take a look at this passage today and just dwell and reflect on it. Thanks. Have a great day.